D'Addario's Humidipack keeps your instrument between 45 and 55% relative humidity when sealed in a hard case. Humidipack is available in maintain and restore kits for both routine and emergency humidification.
Oh, the major 7 ending.
Yeah, come on.
Love it.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, I'm John Bolger with Premier Guitar. We're at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm with John Osborne of the Brothers Osborne.
Yay.
John, thank
Brother,
you,
good
man.
to see you again, man.
So good seeing you. Yeah, thrilled we're doing this.
I know, I've watched pretty much all of these, and I'm slightly embarrassed that I'm even doing this because I feel like my rig sucks in comparison to all of these amazing...
Well, the last one we did here was Bonamassa, and that's a pretty good rig.
Yeah, he doesn't have any guitars or any vintage amps or, So I'll be sure to underwhelm all of you with this.
Yeah, I love your humility, but you're an amazing talent, and you guys are taking over the world, man.
We're trying. We're exhausted at every step of the way, but this is our this will be our third night playing the Ryman, so we have 3 sold out shows. And yeah, man, I can't freaking believe it. It's the mother church.
Yeah, right.
If it was up to me, we would only play this place.
Yeah,
it's the best.
yeah.
You know, I mean, we've all played here. It's incredible.
Yeah, that would be an easy tour. Yeah. Well, hey, in the meantime, let's jump into this. You've been a long time telly guy. In fact, that '67 Smuggler telly was
I had so it was a '68 actually, but same difference, you know, and it was this neck. So when I played like a G&L for a long time, and then I had like a Seagull acoustic, you know those, and they were pretty cool. And I had a really terrible Silverface twin reverb from like early '70s. Yeah, it was just loud and it would kill you. And I went to, it was Nashville Used Music, is that what it's called, down Nolensville Road?
Sure.
And I walked in there and they had this telly. It was for $2,500 and it was sitting on the counter and it looked beat up, and I'm beat up, and I was like, that's just so cool. I feel so related to it. And it was a body, neck, everything was original on it, but I think somebody tried to distress it. And I fell in love with it. And at one point, for like probably 5 or 6 years, it was the only guitar I played.
Right. In fact, I was looking at your rig now, and the last time I saw you, or the time before, you had that.
Yeah. But you know what's so weird about tellies, we could all maybe attest to this, is that for some reason, and I think it's because of the basic nature of the instrument, it's just, it's 2 pieces of wood just bolted together.
Right.
It's very simple. 2 knobs, which is about 2 too many for my futile mind, and 2 pickups, and that's it, in 3 positions. And I think you could pretty much play any genre with a telly. I mean, it's so strange. I have an odd relationship with other guitars. Like, I feel like 1 out of 10 Strats, I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. And the other 9, I just can't do it because I'm not really a Strat guy. But you could pick the crappiest telly off of the wall out of anywhere, and it just works. I don't know why it is. I think it's just meat and potatoes always works in every situation.
It is amazing that it's like, 66-year-old
and they have
technology.
Not improved on it.
Yeah, they got it right the first time.
But everyone just always goes back to just your standard thing. Yeah. Even this is kind of a little bit different.
So that's the neck off that beloved old one.
So that's the neck off of it. And I have a bunch of other tellies, but I'm just so familiar with this neck. I've had it refretted multiple times. With
big frets.
With big frets this time. I had kind of medium-sized frets, but I just wanted to go a little bit bigger. Yeah. And then, so I have the original '68 pickups, but you know how we are. We just want to swap them out all the time. These are Lawlers. I like them a little bit hotter. As a telly guy, you're always fighting treble. Yeah. Which is a cool sound, but for an hour and a half of like kind of, a wide spectrum of sounds, it can kind of get to you. Yeah. So these are the specials. It's really, really punchy, like nearly P90-ish sounding. And this is, I'm not sure exactly which one this is called, but it's essentially like a Strat pickup. It's a lot hotter output. And I don't know, I've just been really happy with that for now. Come back in 6 months. I'll be playing like a Roland synth guitar.
Yeah, you'll never last 6 months.
No.
it'll be changed in a week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is, there's a guy named Chris Plank, who I have work on my guitar sometimes. He's awesome here in town. He's like, dude, I made this weird pick guard. Do you like it? And I was like, yes, I love it. So I bought it, I put it on another guitar, and then I was like, So for this record that we did, Port St. Joe, I borrowed.
What a great record!
Thank you, man.
I love
Thank you.
that. It's like a band in a room.
That's
just
what it was. A
their ass
band in a
off.
room.
Yeah.
It was us. It was our guys and Jay Joyce just sitting in a room for 2 weeks playing music. You know,
God, isn't that great?
What a concept.
Yeah.
And we, I borrowed a B-bender from Keith Gaddis, who's like, the B-bender master.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to play maybe a B-bender song or something. Of course, you put a B-bender in someone's hands that's never had one. You want a B-bender on everything.
Yeah.
And I'm completely obsessed. So when I got back, I was like, hey man, how much you want for that guitar? He wouldn't sell it to me. And then I found this loaded body on eBay of all places. It's a matinee bender.
Huh.
It's kind of like, the Gene Parsons sort
Parsons
of thing.
White. Looks kind of cleaner.
Yeah, it's really clean. And he had a loaded body, came with just the hardware. And I, took my 68 Tele apart, took the neck off. I smashed it together and I kind of made the guitar that I've been playing for a while.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
It does a thing.
Took your favorite guitar, took it apart.
Took it apart, yeah, and now it's this half of my favorite guitar. Now, I mean, so much of it is in the neck. I mean, a body is resonant, but you don't play a body. Like, there's so much relationship you have with your left hand and the neck. It's just a comfortability thing. And I could, with my eyes closed, I feel like I know, this is like home. I know where everything is.
Yeah, every grease spot on the
I don't like it cleaned off. I had it cleaned off one time and I felt like someone took years off of my life. I was like, I did all that work. It looks awesome. Come on.
Yeah.
The grime.
The grime.
Yeah.
Well, that's fabulous, man. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm in love with this one. Again, if there's one guitar I had to have until, like on a desert island, it would be, well, really this neck, but like this guitar for right now, I just love the way it immediately sounds to anything.
A desert island with electricity and a good amp.
Yeah. It's pretty resonant. Very quiet desert island with no sound and an amp.
So let's jump into the next guitar.
Yeah, man.
Got Zach here.
This is Zach. This is our trusty guitar tech. We don't deserve him, but he stays around because he pities us, and we also pay him.
You pay him.
It helps to pay him.
You pay him handsomely. What's he gonna do?
So I am like, obsessed. I've always tried to find really cool refins or player grade guitars for multiple reasons, mostly because it's cheaper.
Sure. Oh.
Like first and foremost. And also, a lot of times they just have a cool, unique quality to them, and a lot of times they've been played a lot.
Sure.
So, the wood has been beaten into submission, and it's a guitar now.
Right.
And
if somebody's like played it enough to need a refinish, that means it's probably a good guitar.
It's a good guitar because they want to play it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, so I've had a couple 335s. Just throughout the years, and 60s. I have a 65 and I had a 68 for a while.
Cool.
And I liked them, but the issue that everyone has with them is just really thin down here by the nut. And then just to get a 335 with the 11/16 nut width, which makes all the difference in the world, you have to spend a ridiculous amount of money.
Sure.
And you rarely see these refin, but I'm on Reverb like an addict. I'm on there all the time, so I'm just like scrolling through my feed like I'm just obsessed.
Yeah.
And sure enough, a 1960 Dot refin popped up, and I was like, oh my God. And it was like significantly cheaper than it would be if it wasn't refinished. And the only thing not original, unfortunately, are the pickups, but they are patent sticker that have been converted to like longer magnets to PAFs, and it just sounds
close enough.
Sounds bitchin', man.
That's
and I love
great.
It's a really wide neck. It's not as thick as like a 59 because it's a 60, but it's super comfortable, and I've just been in love with this guitar lately. I really love it.
That's great. Yeah, man. It was interesting because, like I said, I always say in the telly, and then an award show a while ago when you were doing Burning Man, you were playing that Les Paul.
Les Paul, yeah.
And I thought,
yeah,
damn.
that was it's just one of those things, like I'm so obsessed with the telly that I just could never break the habit. And I have so many heroes that, not only play a lot of other instruments, but they're playing guitars that for some reason I couldn't really attach myself to. And I made it a point. I was like, you know what? I gotta figure out how to play a damn humbucker guitar. I've been doing this long enough. I don't even own one.
Right.
And so I went. The first one I got was a 68 SG, which is at home, and I've played it a lot. And the first humbucker guitar was like, oh, this feels great. Yeah. And then I went to Gibson. I was like, really wanting to get a Les Paul, and then they hooked me up with an R9, big neck, and pickups. All the stop pickups sound amazing.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I played it, and I've been in love with it ever since. And our poor Zach, we mentioned earlier, first week on the job, broke the headstock off of it.
Nice going.
So very good,
Zach.
very good, Zach.
Good.
And I believe we gave him a raise like a week after that, strange enough.
Yeah.
And now it's like officially my guitar.
Yeah, right.
They kind of let me borrow it, but I'm like, oh, it's broken.
They don't want it back.
They don't want it back, so I'm happy to have it.
Well played. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's see what's next on the chopping block.
Oh yeah.
In fact, this one, I saw you do an Instagram video of this guy.
Yeah,
when you
have to do Instagram stuff now.
Well, your Instagram's fun to watch.
Yeah, I try to be as goofy as possible. I mean, you can't avoid in 2019 now, like the element of self-promotion.
Yeah.
And I watch all these people on Instagram, I'm like, damn, everyone's so good. And I just like a picture, they just turn it on their phone and they're like, yeah, and it's awesome. And mine's like 34th take later, and I want to kill myself because I'm like, I suck.
Yeah. John, you're kind of a big deal, man. I don't know if you know this, but you got a good little career going.
Yeah, whatever. And so again, another kind of like bucket list item for a guitar has always been a Firebird. You know, I was a huge Skynyrd fan, still am a huge Skynyrd fan.
Right.
And Alan Collins just playing Freebird on a Firebird. Freebird on a Firebird. Yeah. How is that not in a country song yet? And it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you see, like, it's the most epic looking thing. It feels like it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
And these pickups are cool too, especially for someone like me that's a tele guy.
Right.
They got a spanky, almost like single coil element to them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that hard to transition over to this one, except for the fact that everything's kicked out this way. So
yeah, that's the awkward bit.
It's so weird, and it's like, it's a. What do you do? Do you do that thing, or do you do this, and it's just like limp? So I don't know. It's a struggle, but I kind of like it. It sounds really good, and it keeps me like engaged because if not, it will like physically get away from you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I just kind of like it. It's really, really super bright, but it just cuts through everything.
Yeah, and hey, do you mind playing just?
Yeah,
let's just hear that thing.
Sure. So I played the Telly a second ago.
Yeah, let's see. Let's do a taste test.
It's spanky.
Right.
It's really spanky. It's kind of like almost like a Telly.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Brothers Osborne. No.
That was free.
Yeah, there's more. There's more. Just
And but it's kind of spanky, man. Yeah, I love it. And this is like kind of stratty sounding in a way. It's just really cool.
Do you find these are really microphonic pickups?
Extremely.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one isn't as bad, but I do find this one to be pretty microphonic.
And you're a loud guy. I mean,
just in general, even when I'm not playing guitar, my voice carries for miles.
You're a big, loud guy. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw you guys, and I made the mistake of walking by your rig.
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to do that. It was brutal, and I think that would have been at the time. I think it was like a blonde basement or something.
Yeah,
and I had it pointed off stage.
Oh God!
And I would be playing kind of in my own world. And I would look over, and I could just see like the crew just wanting to kill themselves.
Yeah,
like I feel so bad, but it sounded good.
Oh, it sounded great. I'm sterile after walking in front of that amp, but
what?
Yeah, what? Okay.
But yeah, man, that's the vibe here. The one thing I'm getting used to, well, besides everything being kind of kicked out this way, is these things are wired differently, and I didn't know that. It's volume.
Oh. I would never remember that.
So I know, and I'm constantly just like trying to play a damn solo. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So that's why I always say the Telly is just easy. It's 2 knobs. But it's
just
fun,
leave
man.
that shit all the way up.
Just leave it all the way up, man. But it looks cool when the guys are playing. You can see them moving something. You're like, that guy really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he's probably just like,
He's like, what's this dude?
Whoa, man. You hear the subtle differences. I can't hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like this. It's 64, I think, and I got it at Rumble Seat.
Yeah, right down the street.
Which is right down the street. It was like a really great spot. I picked it up and I played 3 notes. I was like, gotta have it. I absolutely love this guitar.
Perfect.
But yeah,
Good.
man.
That's that songwriter money going to the right place.
Yeah, man. It is a problem. It is an absolute problem.
It's only a problem if you don't have money.
Yeah, that is also true. Before, and I think that's the reason why this isn't necessarily player grade. It's got some finish problems, but there's no headstock breaks or anything like that.
Yet.
But yeah.
Zach.
And but I think that's why I just naturally go towards like reef ends or player grade or headstock brakes, because I don't know. I mean, when I really didn't have that much money, I was just trying to make it work, and I wanted cool guitars, and you know, I just like mojo, man.
Yeah. Well, let's look at what's next.
So this, you know, it's pretty standard. I mean, there's really nothing too crazy to write home about, other than the fact I remember seeing the Rolling Stones a few years ago, and Mick Taylor's in LA, and Mick Taylor came out and just like whipped everyone's ass in the room, and he was playing a Les Paul with the Bigsby, and I was like, God, that just looks so cool. I mean, the Les Paul is one of the most beautiful guitars in the world.
Oh, right.
But you just toss a Bigsby on there, and it adds a whole new kind of classic element to it.
Although, do you find with the Bigsby, it's really hard to get to your knobs?
Extremely hard to get the knobs. It is a problem.
That drives me crazy.
And like I said, I usually just kind of pretend like I'm turning them. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I had them install, what do you call these? Like, whatever you pull these little things up, like
push-pull.
Push-pull kind of thing.
Wasn't a tough word.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, there's a right and wrong way to say what that is, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But it turns them into single coils, essentially. So I can just get a lot more sounds out of it. And it makes a pretty significant difference, too, you know? And you can get that, you know, Jimmy Page. I'm not going to attempt at Jimmy Page, but I'll just kind of show you the difference in, you know, then like,
God, that's great.
Really clean.
Right?
And it's super cool, man, and I actually really, really love it. But this, you know, it now has a stinger.
Yeah, nice, good.
Which is like kind of rad looking. Again, thanks to our awesome guitar tech.
Yeah, he's relicing your stuff.
Yeah, you know it's funny, he used to work at Gibson, and he would relic their guitars for me. He does an incredible job at relicking, and I was like, dude, you're trying way too hard to relic this guitar, man. You're going above and beyond here. And but actually, I really love this guitar, and you know, I haven't had it out in a couple gigs just because it's just fun to get guitars in rotation. But I love this guitar. Feels great, sounds great, and looks cool. I love the burst, and yeah, man.
That's fabulous. Yeah, that's the one I saw you doing. I think Burning Man.
Burning Man, yeah.
Did you play it on the album?
I did. I played on the album. That was actually.
Was that guitar on the album?
It wasn't his guitar. It was actually like a cheap, like $1,100 Les Paul that I found in Grand Rapids. And the guy I bought it from had this on it. Like you could push pull it. I was like, I kind of just like that sound. And that was literally just a Les Paul. I've got a 5E3 Tweed Deluxe sitting over there. You might be able to show later, and like a delay pedal, and that was it. And that sounded bitchin', man. It's like, it makes you realize why people track with these instruments. You know, they're great, especially these old 50s Tweed amps. They're like, nothing sounds like that. Yeah, that was a killer solo, and it sounded, and live it was equally great. So. Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know if you saw, was it the CMAs recently where we did it?
I can't.
If you want to go back and watch the performance where there's literally like fireballs like going off around us, which is like was not my idea. It looked really cool. But the second in sound check where we played the first note, everyone was out of tune because they keep those rooms really, really cold. And the second, you know, like that flame comes up, it's a good, you know, 100-degree change like that, and everyone's instruments go out. So if you go back and watch the performance. I'm not playing at all during the song, except for the solo. I'm standing there trying to look cool, but really what I'm doing, I'm like, looking at my tuner on national television. I'm like, tuning my freaking guitar right now. And so I did that, and then played the solo. I'm so cool. And I started tuning again. It's just awful. But check it out.
That's okay.
Full-on embarrassment.
Good. We've got to watch. That's a good YouTube
I know how to tune my guitar. I'm very confident with that, at least.
Right. Yeah. Well, fabulous. Well, should we jump into the amp?
Sure, man, if you want to.
Yeah, so you were, as you're saying, you're tracking with that Tweed.
I use that Tweed for a lot of tracking. Yeah. But you in the studio, you can beef everything out.
Sure. And before that, I saw you the old Basement, and I think you had like deluxes before that.
I did, I've gone through it all. I'm just I love Fender amps. I always
This is the first time. Okay, so now you're plugged into the
Two-Rock Classic Reverb Signature. I have a couple of friends that have these Two-Rocks, and they all swear by them. It was kind of a leap of faith that I took because a lot of the guys I know that play these amps are great players, they get great tone, and but I can't find them anywhere. So basically, I had to go to a shop called Humbucker Music, I think it is, right outside of Chattanooga, and kind of like buy it and just see if I liked it. And it is, before this I was playing a $600 Bassman that I bought on Craigslist. And it sounded awesome. I mean, it's a Bassman. Those things are like the tellies of amps. They just work with everything.
Bulletproof.
And I was like, oh my God, this thing, it's going from like an F-100 Ford Ranger to a spaceship.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what is going on here. And I was like, and we're recording at the Ryman in 2 weeks. What the hell am I getting myself into? And but it's actually been fun trying to learn, and that's like learning an instrument.
Oh yeah.
You plug into a Bassman, it just does its thing. This is like trying to dial it in. I mean, the tonal range is just huge. You get so many sounds.
Well, and particularly after like being on a Fender for like decades.
For decades, yeah, that's all I played.
Yeah.
I was never a Marshall guy. I've used Marshalls in the studio, which sound cool for a thing, but I could never play a whole gig on one for some reason.
No, it just isn't me either.
Yeah, and it's so strange. And again, nothing against their fantastic amps. They work for some players.
Right.
Just my hands and my ear or whatever, it didn't. And Voxes are the same thing. Sounds great, but I could never. I'm too clunky, I think, of a guitar player. I'm really aggressive, like you said, I'm big and loud.
Yeah.
And I just kind of don't make a Vox sound that great, personally. Yeah. But a Fender, it doesn't matter who you are, you plug it in, you turn it up, and you really just put everything on 5.
Yeah.
And kind of go from there, and it's just going to sound great. And it take any pedal that you throw at it.
I think there's something about like whatever brand your local music store had
That's probably
when
what
you
it
grew
is.
up. That's like what you're used to. And you're like, oh,
absolutely.
of course, Peavies. Yeah.
The first tube amp I had was a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. You know, we all had it, and they were great clean sound. Yeah. And I was like, that was like my introduction to a tube sound. And then you're spoiled after that. Yeah. And then I went from that to a Deluxe Reverb, and that's what we've backlined for years. And TJ's got a couple Deluxes back there just for the reissues. Right. And they'll take anything you throw at it.
Yeah. So you're running the 2-rock through the proprietary cab.
The cab, yeah. It's open back. You know, the Bassman I was using before was a blonde Bassman, had a closed back, and I kind of just like the difference. It's just a little more open. But I'm going from between the 2-rock and the cab, I'm going into the aux box.
Yeah, how do you like that?
You know, I love it. I love everything for now. I don't know what I'm going to feel like in 2 months from now.
Yeah, right.
But the aux box is really cool. So it's cab simulation. And I'm sure everyone that is watching this probably already knows what these are about. But it's just, it allows you to play your amp. It feels like an amp. Yeah. But you can dial in a bunch of different sounds that when if you're tired of one cab, you know, the next day you just switch over to another one and tweak it, and it's just really cool. And it's a consistent thing. Right. Playing shows, specifically at festivals, outdoor festivals, humidity changes really affect the speaker. Right. Because if you're down in like Louisiana and it's really humid, it will cover the cone of a speaker, and that's just consistent all the time. So, and I run them both together. And great that you can get a direct sound, but still an amp. You're still hearing your amp. Yeah, yeah. You know, I tried. You know, I've had some friends that have Kempers, and they're also great in studio as well. But that's also a feel thing. It just felt weird. Right. Me, yeah, I never. Yeah. So much of it is just if so much of it is in the hands. You know, your hands want to make something sound a certain way, and if it's not giving that back, but you know, it's a carrot we dangle in front of our faces. We'll never get there, but it's fun though. Yeah, it's so much fun. Okay, speaking about the carrot, let's look at this rather modest this is a very modest pedal board. Again, I'll always go back to why I'm like you know, a tele guy. I prefer simplicity. Yeah. And every time I try to delve into a complicated pedal, I just get severely frustrated. Right. But it's pretty simple. Well, in the last time I saw your board, it was considerably simpler than this. Yeah, it was. It was smaller. Yeah. And you know, I've got like a very expensive phaser pedal. This Chase Bliss phaser pedal. Oh yeah, yeah. And I use that on the opening of Shoot Me Straight, and so it's like kind of a very specific sound that I can't really get with like the M9 or something. Yeah. And then oh, you know what? Yeah, let's take it from the start. So we'll go from the very beginning. Oh God. Okay. Zach, help. Yeah. Zach, so once he got here, I go into the drop. Okay. This is. I am actually mildly embarrassed to admit this. So yeah. Years ago, when we were traveling, we didn't have a guitar tech. We didn't have a tech. We didn't have a tour manager. Yeah. Pete, our bass player, was tour managing. Yeah. We didn't have anything. I had one guitar, and that was it. Yeah. Stay a little longer, you know, was like our big song. Yeah. And I couldn't bring another guitar. Yeah. So I searched and searched and searched for a drop pedal, and This thing is awesome.
Oh yeah, the drop. Yeah, who makes that?
Digitech.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I told you I'm an idiot, man. But it's Digitech drop because they do the whammy.
Yeah.
So I guess they have that, that whatever that digital thing that does it. And damn, it sounds good, man.
Right.
It pulls a little bit of high end off of, which isn't that big of a deal. I can show you.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which isn't that big of a deal with a telly, and it tracks really, really, really fast. Which is the thing, to the point where I literally played on TV with it.
Yeah.
With a guitar tuned to standard. And, I'm so used to this guitar that I feel really comfortable playing it. If I try to get another guitar, it would feel weird.
Sure.
And, but yeah, man, it's like, it's so terrible. I feel like I'm getting away with murder.
Wow.
You just lose a little bit of high end.
Like magic.
But it tracks so fast, you don't feel it in your fingertips. It's probably like a millisecond.
Well, I've lost so much high end that I can't tell.
That's true.
Well, you even played?
So I go from that into the switchblade, because I play mandolin as well.
Sure.
So I want to use the wireless pack for that. I can just switch it out.
Yeah.
And then I think I go from that into the tuner. Oh, and this is another reason why I'll tell you why the drop comes before the tuner. Is it's going back before we had wireless. It's got this momentary switch on it, so if you hit it, it means you can use the pedal to go like, and when you push down, it goes down, and you lift off, whatever.
Right.
I didn't notice it did that. So, the band's coming in, TJ's singing, it sounds great, mandolin's rocking, and it comes time for like the big power chord, and it's like, I'm like, oh my God! And it was awful. And that's the moment you look at the bass player and you're like, what are you doing? Meanwhile, like, I'm down here fiddling. So I've learned to put it before the tuner, so when it's on, I just do a quick double check to see if it's, it's down a half step. So anyway, go from that, and then let's see, I don't know, I think the Chase Bliss.
Yeah, the
phaser
crazy
sounds
phaser.
really wicked and cool.
A lot of knobs.
Way too many knobs, man. For a phaser, right? You go from a phase 90,
you get
literally
one knob.
has one knob, and this thing has like dip switches, and again, it's just beyond my comprehension. But it sounds cool. It gives a bunch of cool sounds.
Yeah.
And I go from that into the Origin Effects Cali 76, which is like the sickest compressor I've ever played through in my life. It's so wide. I mean, Dynacups sound great, all those like old school compressors sound awesome.
One-dimensional though.
Exactly. They do a thing, but this does everything. And it's got a dry knob too, so you can mix in your clean sound, and it's intense. It can really, really get squishy, but it sounds awesome. This is the EP, this is the AC booster, Exotic Effects. This is like a pedal that I keep taking off my board for like a week, and I always put it back on. I don't see a lot of guys playing them, so I get this kind of preconceived notion that I shouldn't play it. But I love this pedal. It's like probably one of my favorite overdrives of all time, because it sings, it's just kind of, it just sounds awesome to me. It's like creamy and warm, and then I go to the Strymon. It's got an actual JFET circuit in it, so it's not it's not digital. Oh. This has got a digital, like a germanium kind of booster on this side. It sounds, it's like really kind of nasally, but it sounds really good. And I actually use that a lot on our record. So man, don't fear the digital. And then my second favorite, kind of swap between the two, gain pedal is the Lightspeed Greer Effects. It's a little, scoops a little bit in the mids, but to me, it kind of sounds like you just walked over to your amp and just turned it up a little bit, like the gain.
When nobody was looking.
No one was looking, So, and that's kind of hot, but it's just really subtle. Just kind of turns the gain. It kind of just has a little more fuzz, and it sounds great in front of all the other gain pedals.
Yeah, that is really subtle.
Really, but you can get, you're not so subtle, but I guess the word is transparent.
Sure.
Is that what people call it?
That's what people,
Sounds cool.
That's what we say, Who knows?
And then the EP booster, again, which is great, just for everything, sounds great.
So basically that whole front row just makes things louder.
It's always, it's all about being louder than everyone else behind me at all times.
Drown out a drummer.
And then this right here, the H9, I had high hopes for myself, thinking I was smart enough to operate it. Turned out I'm not.
They're
so
complex.
They're really complex.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea how to use them. Like, I'm breaking out my phone. I'm like, why do I need a Bluetooth signal to use this thing? But, so I really only use it for delays, because the delays do sound really good. And I used one reverb setting, because I use this on the record too. It sounds like legit spring reverb.
Sure.
And I actually really love that setting. And you can adjust the intensity to like.
Oh,
it gives you that really cool, like, the spring.
So the little Dunlop is the effects.
Yeah, so this is just this is expression pedal.
Cool.
For that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like the way the springs sound. You know, playing Fenders, Deluxes, that love that reverb sound. And then just into the M9, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm like so 2011 that I still play an M9, but it's just easy, man. It's simple. It sounds good. You know, all the verbs and all the other stuff sound good. There's never a moment where I'm like, I wish I had more, because it does everything that you need.
Yeah.
And it's super easy to use.
That's 2011, but I looked at your brother's board and he's got the green.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, he just stepped into the 90s.
He's like 2004. Oh, my God.
Yeah. He's late 90s on that.
I like it, dude. Yeah, I remember I had one of those without a power supply. I would just have to replace the big ass batteries.
Yeah.
It costs like $100 a month to use that thing.
Yeah, very practical. Yeah.
But this is super clean looking, because I actually bought one in a pawn shop, a backup, and we threw this on the board. But it's just easy to change.
Yeah.
If something doesn't sound right, if this doesn't sound right, you're kind of screwed. There's a way to hit all these buttons and change it, but it's just, I don't have the patience.
Well, and that's a lot of stuff in the toolbox. That M9, it gives you all this.
I have another one for my studio rig, which is great for creating, because the sound's really vast, and you can sit there and tweak it and dial it. But when the show's going down, there's no changing it. I mean, there's not much you could do in the moment.
Once the train is left.
Left the building, you're like, you just hope it sounds good. Especially if you're singing, you can be like, somebody bring out my iPad. And then, I don't know, man. But it's pretty basic, and that's how I run my stuff. I like it simple, and every time I try to venture out and do all these cool things that other awesome guitar players do, I always find myself just kind of coming back to basics.
Yeah, well, John, you're killing it, man. I mean, you're wildly talented, great. I'd like to see the good guys win.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Fucking good to see you, man.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's talk to your brother. All right, now we are with TJ Osborne. TJ, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, now, here's a cool story. When we did the award show, the CMT Awards, years ago, I've done that for 9 years, and every time the singers always about like getting as much time as they can on camera. And I was talking about the arrangement. He said, "Man, I'm going to sing a really short part and then hand it over to my brother to let him play, because nobody,
of course.
so they can know."
People have to see that, and I think it's nowadays there aren't enough time allotted to the guitar player, and that's part of what we do. You know, I sing, but equally half of what we do is John playing guitar. So
it is such a cool part of your.
However,
thing.
He's getting way more than half of this segment.
Okay,
this rig rundown, which he deserves. He deserves.
Well, let's talk about this great junior, man.
Oh yeah, I got this from Emerald City Guitars in Seattle. There was one of my favorite guitar stores.
Yeah,
and I saw it, and I called him up, and we're really close to where he was like, "Yeah, this is a good one. You're gonna like it." And so he shipped it down, and I've fallen in love with it. It really is cool. I've always wanted one, and then once I got one, I wondered what took me so long. Yeah, of course I did. I bought another one over there. But it's one of those guitars. It's just, I mean, they're expensive. It's one of those kind of holy grail guitars, and I feel kind of ridiculous that I'm not really a shredder. I kind of do, mostly I just stack what my brother's doing, and I have a guitar that's as cool as this. But
man, you're a great guitar player. I mean, you guys have your, you guys both find your own place.
I was fishing for compliments. But I know you guys are running a little short on time. We'll jump into here some of the stuff I'm doing.
Yeah, okay.
So what I do is pretty simple. I mean, a lot of the times I really enjoy just playing rhythm. I really love it. Like, John will call to me to play a solo every once in a while, and I'm like, oh God, no. I just really love just kind of stacking stuff or kind of laying back. And I use this on Shoot Me Straight, and a lot of times I use this Pog to really kind of fatten up the tone. That sounds killer, and the great thing about it, because it doesn't sound like an effect. It just sounds like a huge guitar. Big, which once again I'm kind of going behind John.
Yeah.
and just trying to make it sound even bigger than just me. And it's weird. I haven't seen many people use this gain changer, but it's one of my favorite overdrive pedals.
Oh yeah, let's hear that thing.
I've used it. It's just like.
So that's running with the Pog right now.
Yeah, and I always leave that EP boost on. But yeah, that's it off.
Yeah, very subtle.
It's cool, yeah. And then I have a couple other pedals on here just because when backline stuff gets a little.
Sure.
You never know what you're going to get sometimes. So I like a couple of variations, but that's pretty much mostly where I sit. And then I have this AB switch just for my acoustic channel, and we can run through that really fast of just.
Love that J200.
I do too. This one actually sounds really, really good. The majority of what I do is literally just these couple combinations.
Yeah.
It's just we have a lot of, well, you can't hear this, can you? Damn.
That's more of a front of the house thing, but.
It is, but the one thing why it really matters here is that another thing I do is I have this twin 12 pedal that I actually throttle way down, and then I will send the signal, just a really mild signal to the amp.
Oh, so
and I'll even sometimes run the Pog on that.
Oh, how cool!
Can't really hear it, but.
So are you splitting the signal where it's going direct and that?
It's one's going to the DI and out to them, and then the other signal runs to the amplifier.
God, that's great.
And that's I use that on a couple of the songs where there isn't a lot of other stuff going on in the band, and I'm just kind of mainly just kind of holding it down myself, and that way he has complete control of it.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I just like the hair that twin 12 adds to it at a really low volume. It's really.
Well, and you've got an honest-to-God Klon on your board.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. But the fact that I have it, he's the one that should have it. But that's the thing, that pedal's so good for taking solos and just really biting through. I don't get to use it that much just because it kind of starts getting in the way of what he's doing over there. It starts getting a little too messy when two guitars are just so high gained. But yeah, I mean, it's an incredible pedal.
Well, and that's the cool thing about, because I've watched you guys for years now, and you both always have your sonic space, you know? Like,
absolutely.
Even when you're both on electric, there's a tonal variety there.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear you say that. But that's absolutely intentional, especially with, once again, I don't want to get in the way of what he's doing. You know, he's over there ripping it up, singing on guitar, and all I want to do is just kind of leave a nice foundation for him to play over.
Yeah, and sing your ass off. And you're running into a deluxe. You've always made
I've messed around with the boutique stuff a lot, and then we were doing so many gigs where we were having to get backline, and quite often I would just get those reissues. Yeah. And I always just loved the way they sounded. Yeah. And also usually, if the backline company had one really great amp, it goes to him. right. So I'm like, I know you probably have a reissue. So I just got really good at just figuring that out. So that is a product of consistency, and I genuinely actually love the way that amp sounds. Yeah. And it's a tank. It's never once quit me.
They're bulletproof.
They are bulletproof.
Yeah. You know what? Hey man, let's look at this one last guitar.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it just looks too cool to not look at.
Yeah, this is a Mario Martin. And it's just, this thing has truly had its ass kicked. It's like, it's slowly turning into kind of a Frankenstein guitar just because it's fallen apart many times. I used to throw this guitar all over the place, but now. Yeah,
you're both just big dudes.
This guitar is really cool. I had a Bigsby on it originally, was set up. And it really just, to me, it just created way more problems than it added anything. But I love just the way that looks. So I just took the components off and I left that part on there.
Just that big scar.
But this thing's cool, man. It's like, the headstock's been snapped in half, and our tech, Zach, has literally pieced this guitar back together so many times. And I've tried many times I just bought a 68 Tele that is really cool. And I was just playing through it the other day, and I'm like, man, this thing just has whatever that thing is. Right. It just feels right. It sounds right. I just love everything about it.
Yeah, love the look, love the sound.
It's just good for that. It's got a good, just snappy telly thing to it.
Yeah.
I don't use this one as much, just once again, as far as having two different kind of sonic lanes. John rips a telly a lot of times, so
Yeah.
then I kind of drift off of that.
Oops. Excuse
No,
me.
it's all right, man.
Sorry.
Busy man.
Yeah. Hey, so man, I can't thank you enough for
Absolutely.
joining us.
Bring it in
Congrats on the selling this place out every night.
I know, it's so cool. I
And
love
God,
it.
everything else, you guys are taking over the world.
Thanks.
So yeah. Hey, till next time.